Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 1 and today we will study unit number 7, Where Do You Live? We will study specifically writing and the project of writing, so welcome everyone. This lesson will be taught by me, teacher Mazen Al-Harbi, and the sign language will be presented by Mr. Saleh Al-Ujan. So our objectives for today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson, you will be able to read postcards and also to write postcards as well. And number 3, to use personal pronouns in place of nouns or people. So just a quick revision on last lesson. Last lesson, we have a reading text. We have read 2 reading texts about 2 different neighborhoods. And we also did compare between those neighborhoods. We found some similarities between the neighborhood in America and the neighborhood in Mexico, John's and Francisco's, and we have found some differences as well. And we also, at the end of this reading text, I told you that to try to compare the differences or the similarities between their neighborhoods and your neighborhood as well. So this was our last training from last lesson, which is to compare the neighborhood with the ones we have read in the reading. Compare them in terms for people, in regard of people. They said that the people in their neighborhoods are friendly, easygoing. So compare it to the people in your neighborhood. How are they? Are they the same, or they are different? And also in terms of culture. As for example, your neighborhood has a multicultural, or it has only one culture. And also, we talked about places, and we have read about those 2 neighborhoods, about their places. They said that we have a lake, and we have a park, and we have a museum. So what about your neighborhood? Does your neighborhood have the same thing or not? So this was an interesting exercise we did last time in comparing the places, the culture, the people we have in our neighborhood with the neighborhoods we have read about. For today's lesson, now I would like you to please open your books on page 62. Open your books on page 62. On page 62, we're going to read a postcard from a pen pal, and we're going to circle the places that are similar in your neighborhood. So we have a postcard, we're going to read it. This postcard is sent by a pen pal. But what do you mean by the word pen pal? So here, we're going to see this word a lot, pen pal. What do we mean by a pen pal? Pen pal is a friend who lives in another city or a country, and someone who you exchange letters or emails with. So a pen pal, actually a friend who lives in another city or another country, and he constantly keeps sending you letters or emails just to check things out with you. So this type of friend, we call him a pen pal, a pen pal. So now let us read the postcard from our pen pal here, and then we're going to circle the places that are similar in our neighborhood. So this is the letter from our pen pal. Before we read about this letter, let's try to explain how a letter or an email is written. So as you can see here, we always, in any letter or any email, we always start with a greeting. We always start with greeting. Like for example here, we can see a greeting which is, Dear Khalid. After this, we're going to write the main idea. We're going to write the gist or the main ideas of the email that we want or the information we want the receiver to know about. After we started with a greeting and the main idea, we will finish with the closing. We will finish with the closing. And with closing, usually, we say nice words like see you later, goodbye, and so on. We will talk about this in detail later in this lesson, but now let's read the letter from our pen pal here. The letter says, Dear Khalid, I live in a historic neighborhood. It has traditional buildings, but they have modern conveniences. We have stores, cafes, and restaurants. There is a supermarket, a bank, a pharmacy, a post office, and schools. My high school isn't far from my house. Near my neighborhood, there is a famous palace. It has beautiful gardens, a lake, and an old bridge. There is a bus, but we walk everywhere. My neighborhood is nice. It has friendly people. Tell me about your neighborhood. Your friend, Robert. So, this letter is sent by our pen pal, and his name is Robert. Usually, when someone's sending an email or someone's sending a letter, he would write his name at the end of a letter, at the end of a letter or at the end of an email. So, let's try to explain the information that mentioned this letter. He said, I live in a historic neighborhood. Historic, it means a very old neighborhood, and says it has traditional buildings, buildings that are old, but even if these buildings are old, but they have modern conveniences, modern stores. He said we have stores, we have cafes, restaurant, bank, pharmacy, and his school isn't far from his house. The school that Robert attends to is not far, it is near his house. So he said there is also famous palace. It has beautiful garden, a lake, and also an old bridge. And also he said there is bus. We have in our neighborhood a bus, but we don't use the bus. We walk everywhere. And also about the people in his neighborhood, he said that we have friendly neighborhood. So this is the gist of Robert's letter. But here we find out two interesting terms. The first one is palace. What do you mean by palace? And the other one is bridge. So here we have two interesting words. Which one? The first one is palace. The second one is bridge. Let's find out in more detail what do you mean by these two words. So here we have a palace. A palace is actually a large traditional house. So not any house, it's a very large traditional and old house. Like we can see this, like the palace we can see here in stories, in old stories and fictional stories, we see palace like this. But we also here in Saudi Arabia, we do have an example of a palace. Do you know what that palace is? Very good. It is Al Masmak Palace in Riyadh. So this is an example of a palace that we have here in Saudi Arabia. It's large and traditional. The other word we have read, which is bridge. What do you mean by a bridge? A bridge is a structure that is built over a sea so that people or vehicles can cross from one side to another. So it is a structure built over the sea so people or cars can move from one side to another, as we can see in this picture. But we also have an example of a very famous bridge here in Saudi Arabia. Do you know what that example is? Very good. It is King Fahd Causeway or King Fahd Bridge, which is the longest bridge in the world. So as you can see here, it's a structure built over the sea so people can move from one place to another. Now, let's go back to our letter. Now we have learned the meaning of palace and bridge. Let's try to answer a couple of questions about this letter. So, What are the buildings like? According to Robert, he said something about the buildings in his neighborhood. What is it? Very good. He said that we have traditional buildings. We have traditional buildings and old buildings. And also, is the school near Robert's house? Is the school Robert goes to, is it near his house or not? Let's read here. Robert says that my high school isn't far from my house. Is not far from his house. So, yes, it's near his house. And what does the palace have? Robert mentioned something about them having a palace in their neighborhood, but what does this palace have? So it says here that we have a famous palace. It has beautiful gardens. It has a lake. It has an old bridge. So these are the three things that their palace has. And do people walk or take the bus in Robert's neighborhood? Let's read and find out. Robert says that there is a bus, but we walk everywhere. So they have a bus, but they don't use it. They rather, or they prefer to walk. And the last one, what are the people like? So in Robert's neighborhood, what are the people like? Robert says that it has a friendly people. So the people in Robert's neighborhood are friendly, easygoing. That's why Robert likes his neighborhood. Now, a couple of interesting things we need to highlight, which is the personal pronouns that replace a place of nouns or people. So in English, when we write, okay, sometimes we don't mention the name more than once. We use instead something we called a personal pronouns. And we use this to replace the nouns of a place or the nouns of people, so we don't repeat it. I'll give you an example. So in the first one, in the first sentence, it says, I live in a nice neighborhood. I live in a nice neighborhood. It has friendly people. It has friendly people. So here for the first sentence that ended with this dot, I live in a nice neighborhood. It has, so it here refers to the neighborhood. It here refers to the neighborhood. So instead of his saying, for example, I live in a nice neighborhood, the neighborhood has a friendly people, the neighborhood has places, instead of saying or repeating the word neighborhood, we use a personal pronoun. And in our case here, the personal pronoun we used is it. So as you can see here, it refers to neighborhood. It means neighborhood. And now the second example, the houses aren't modern. The houses are not modern. They are traditional. They are traditional. So you see this personal pronoun, they here refers to the houses. They refers to the houses. So instead of repeating the word the houses, we used instead they. So as you can see here, they refer to houses. The third example is, my neighbors are nice people. They are friendly. They are friendly. And here they refers to what? Very good. They here refers to my neighbors. And the fourth example, my neighbors and I are friendly. We always say hello. So, as we did for the last one, what does we refers to? Very good. It refers to my neighbors and I. This is why we used we in this case. So, let's now go back to the text, and we will find the personal pronouns in the postcard that Robert wrote. So, let's just try to underline the personal pronoun and figure out what nouns does each one replace. So let's read it sentence by sentence. So the first one here says, I live in a historic neighborhood. It has traditional buildings. What do you think it here refers to? Very good. It refers to the neighborhood that we mentioned in the previous sentence. Let's continue. But they have modern conveniences. But they have modern conveniences. They refers to what? Very good. They here refers to buildings. So here we're talking about buildings that have modern conveniences. Let's continue. We have stores, cafes, and restaurants. We refers to what? Very good. We refers to Roberts and his neighborhood. And he said there is a supermarket, a bank, a pharmacy, post office, and schools. And my high school isn't far from my house. Near my neighborhood there is a famous palace. It has a beautiful garden. So what do you think it here refers to? Very good. It refers to the palace that we have mentioned here. It refers to the palace. And a lake and an old bridge. There is also a bus, but we walk everywhere. So again, we refers to excellent, Roberts and the neighbors. So he said, my neighborhood is nice. It has a friendly people. So here it refers to the neighborhood or Robert's neighborhood. You see how easy that was? So we use these personal pronouns instead of repeating names, or nouns. Now, let's continue. So here, as we did for the last slide, so the first one refers to Robert, I live, and it refers to my neighborhood, and they, this one, they refers to buildings, and we refers to my neighbors and I, and it has a beautiful garden. This one refers to the palace, and we as well refers to my neighbors and I, and the last one, it has friendly people. It here refers to my neighborhood. So these are the personal pronouns that Robert used. Now, another exercise I would like you to do is to write a postcard. To write a postcard to a pen pal and tell him or her about your neighborhood. So just try to write about the things that you have in your neighborhood. Places, describe the people in your neighborhood, and remember that you should start your postcard with greetings, as Robert did. What kind of greetings you should write? You have more than a choice. So you can write, for example, Dear Sarah, or Hi Tom, or Hello Ali. So here you can choose any of them and start your letter or your email with. After this, you talk about your neighborhood, the places that it has. After this, when you want to close, use those closing. So you may say, bye for now, or you might write, your friend, best wishes, take care. So these are examples on how to close an email or how to close a letter. So it's very important that you try to write to a pen pal and tell him about your neighborhood. The other exercise I would like you to do also is try to make a brochure. So make a brochure for your neighborhood and list stores, restaurants, services, park, or anything that you would like to talk about in your neighborhood. So a simple brochure like this, and make a simple list about the places, about the restaurants, about the services that you have in your neighborhood. It would be a very interesting brochure. As for now, I would like you to open your books on page 118. We have an exercise, an interesting exercises. So, on your workbook on page 118 in exercise H, I would like you to draw a map. And that map about the places near you and write their name. So you will see an empty blank on page 118. So try to write a simple map about the places you have in your neighborhood. And also, at the bottom of this page, you will find exercise I, which is to answer the question and write about your city. So you will see on the left a couple of questions. Answer them and use these answer to write about your city. It would be a very interesting exercise. But don't forget that you should use the personal pronouns that we have talked about at the beginning of this lesson. So now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.